And our Student of the Week award goes to Michaela.
Yo, what's up, gang? Today we're reacting to a storytime animated video. So in this video, there's too many sexual subliminals in the middle, so yeah, somewhere there is going to get interesting. So let's get to it.
Again, I don't understand why you can't all learn from her.
Good job, Michaela. Thanks. Apart from being the most perfect student in my class, I think I was also the best at our school. I had straight A's, perfect behavior, attendance, and everything.
You're gonna get a scholarship to Harvard someday, dear.
My dad always said, and I believed him. I was going to do great things and change the world. Keep watching to find out how I probably ended up doing the exact opposite.
There we got it. A good girl, perfect grades. Her father wants her to go to Harvard, and yeah, she can make it, but seems like she has other plans. We gotta check those out too.
Although I was already in my final year of high school, I never had a boyfriend or even been on a date. I was just too preoccupied with school and being the absolute best at everything. But one day, I decided to take a break from studying to watch a rom-com, and I started feeling all warm and tingly inside.
Wait, Anna, she decided to take a break from studying to go watch a romantic movie, and she went all warm and cozy inside and forgot that she has schooling to do. Interesting stuff, like lovely stuff, yeah.
Maybe one day I'd go out to a movie with a boy and he'd put his arm around my shoulder.
No, she didn't. Okay, she did. Okay, I have to admit we have people like this. They're watching a movie, they've been single for all their lives, and she was single since grade 1. You must take note, she was single since grade 1. No one wanted her since grade 1. She must have been that ugly. So, now she's watching people kiss in the movie and she's like... Yeah, I've seen people kiss their own fingers before, so that wouldn't surprise me, but yeah.
Oh my gosh! What made it strange was that a few days after these odd feelings, Dominic started looking at me with a twinkle in his eyes. Was I reading into it too much? I hope, because Dominic was super awful, and if I had to pick a guy in my class, it would be Stuart. He was almost as smart as I was, and very kind and gentle. But back to Dominic and how terrible he was. You know how I had a track record for being the best student at my school? Dominic had a record too, for being the worst.
So Dominic, the bad boy who breaks teddy bears, was the one crushing on her, like her opposite type. And she was hoping these feelings were actually real too, because remember, this girl is desperate. She wants anyone she can get. Anyone who can grab, she's taking.
He was bad. And I'm not talking about skipping a few classes bad.
I think we all saw that. Dominic, he was bad. Yeah.
Here's a list of horrible things he did since middle school. In the 7th grade, he got upset with our math teacher for giving too much homework. After class was dismissed, he got a baseball bat and smashed all the windows. Because in 8th grade, he got mad because he wasn't chosen to play a leading character in our Christmas play. So do you know what he did? He slashed the drama teacher's tires. He didn't even make an effort to hide. He did it in front of everyone so they'd know it was him.
So Dominic was so bad that when they gave him too much homework, he would take a bat and smash all school windows. I think this boy has some other father issues or something. And he slashed a tire in front of everyone. It's not something a schoolboy would do. Like, I don't know, maybe if you know somebody like that, yeah, just write him in the comment section below, because I have never met a person like that in my whole life, you know?
I'm not sure why he wasn't expelled then. Our principal is a softie, I guess. You'd think that after he was given all those chances, he'd make an effort to be a little nicer. But no, Dominic became more horrible. He was so rude to teachers, and sometimes he even swore at them.
So apparently he didn't get expelled, and he speaks some other language. Like, he was like, whatever. Like, dude, I hope you heard that, man. I hope you heard that. He was like, yeah.
He continued to break every single rule.
How was that a rule, man? Do not put your leg on a box, and it's like, it's a roadside. Shit.
It's almost like that was all he came to school to do. By our final year of high school, I heard he was a part of a gang and was getting into all kinds of trouble outside of school. He'd only come to school when he felt like it. I think that by this point, the teachers and the principal were too afraid to punish him for anything he did because his gang was pretty dangerous.
How could you be afraid to punish a kid who ran into class like he was gay? Like, didn't you see? He was like nah. And a gang of only 2 people ganging up on Yaubi's homeless kid, like homeless people. Yeah, he was a real gangster, yeah.
No one could cross him, and I guess this made him feel like the most powerful person on the planet. So can you imagine my horror when he showed up in front of my desk with a dozen roses a few days after I saw that sparkle in his eyes?
A dozen red roses for the most beautiful rose in this garden.
Thank you, Dominic. The rest of my classmates stared at us smiling, and I saw Stuart roll his eyes.
His gifts kept on getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so there you get it. Bad boy decides to bring roses and he uses the worst pickup line of all time and he still managed to get a chick. We gotta remember this chick is desperate. She is desperate. Yeah, that's what she is. So we gotta remember that, and then we get the nerd. He is now jealous, even though they never said she had a crush on her, but for some reason he's jealous, and nerds don't get jealous. You gotta understand that nerds love being single, they love marrying other nerds, grow up to be doctors and pharmacists or whatever nerds become.
It didn't stop there. Every day after that, his gifts got bigger and bigger. If I got 12 flowers today, I'd get 24 tomorrow. My room was like a garden. He started hiring a limo to pick me up after school, and he didn't even ask to come along for the ride. At lunchtime, he'd send me 3-course meals from a 5-star restaurant.
Oh, so Gangster Boy is rich too. So he's like buying a flowers that can fill an entire room and limo every day to take her back home. How much is a limo to hire for a day actually? Hey, okay, we won't even mention that. It sounds so unrealistic. And he's buying a 5-course meals. Hold on, wait.
It was weird eating that in front of everyone in the school cafeteria, but the food was awesome.
Okay, Brody eating broccoli. But the way she ate that slurp was intensely awkward, I can say. Looked like a BJ or yeah.
For about 2 weeks of this royal treatment, it seems like he finally developed the guts to ask me out.
Hey, Michaela, I hope you like your presents. It's the least I can do for someone so perfect.
Yes, I like them very much. Thank you.
I was wondering, would you like to maybe go out with me this weekend?
Well, I have to study all day Saturday, but maybe I can meet you after 6.
Great, I'll have a limo pick you up. We're gonna have a great time.
So my first date ever was with the school bad boy.
Now things are starting to add up. This dude is ugly as a MF. Gee, get it, he's ugly. And he's gonna get a limo to pick her up, and he was like, hey, Mackenzie, like, hey, whatever he said about beautiful shit, man, like, yeah. The ugly couple at school finally got together after being single since grade 1 to grade 12. Wow.
Rented out a whole movie theater just for us to watch a movie, and he ordered tons of snacks. Then he did that thing I'd been imagining for a long time. He put his arm around me. I totally melted.
Okay, that was really weird, like, the way, that was really weird. And he put his arm around her, like, she always went like, ooh, like.
After the movie, we went for a stroll, then he took me home. It was a simple date, but I got to learn more about him. It turned out that he was actually a really kind person. A softie, even. I found out that he had 2 little sisters that he loved dearly. I also found out that he loved painting. He showed me a few pictures of his art, and I thought it was so cute that he had a sensitive side. We went on several dates after that until we, yep, you guessed it, became an item. I had my first boyfriend, and I didn't just get into a relationship just to see what that would be like. The thing is, I really had started developing feelings for Dominic. I was in love. I didn't know how to stop feeling that way. Although we were in a relationship now, he continued to spoil me at school. He brought me flowers and gifts every single day, and I could see the other girls burning with envy.
They were burning with envy. How could they burn with envy for an ugly nigga? Like, how can that happen? But yeah, maybe they were after the money. This boy was buying her gifts every day. She was drowning in popcorn in the theater. Like, dog. Maybe they were after the cash. And yeah, at the beginning of the video, bad boy sounded so rich, but now he's no longer a bad boy. He's a softie like I imagined. So yeah, he's mama's boy, but yeah, So it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
Stuart seemed to be a bit concerned, though.
Aren't you worried about where he gets all that money?
All that money?
Come on, genius. Those gifts are super expensive. Dominic lives in my neighborhood and his parents have average jobs.
Dominic's dad is a plumber. And they're hiring limos, man. They live in a poor hood. Oh, where is he getting that money? We gotta find out.
They aren't rich, yet there are working people who can't afford all those gifts.
Oh, lighten up, Stuart.
You know that he's in a gang and he's up to some shady stuff. I just want you to be safe, that's all. Please be careful.
I don't need your help. You know what? Leave me alone. You're probably just jealous because you can't afford to spoil a girl. And even if you could, you wouldn't know how to because you're just so clueless.
Okay, so Nerd was trying to spit some sense into Shorty. And Shorty wasn't buying it. She actually told him to walk off, and he walked away sad as hell. So, but I think Shorty's after the, bad boy's money and maybe what she thinks is his character. So, yeah, and she hangs out with this dude every day. Like, how cute, how romantic.
Walked away sadly, and I went to find my boyfriend. Dominic and I hung out every day after school. Sometimes I'd go to his house, and other times he'd come to mine. I made sure my parents weren't there when he came, though, because they probably wouldn't approve of him. We'd chill and watch movies in my room, but eventually we started making out a lot, and that led to more.
They started kissing, and that led to more. And she couldn't tell her parents about him. Seems like somebody I know.
And probably guess what? I knew I probably shouldn't be doing that because I had to focus on my studies, but I didn't care. Like I told you, your girl was in love. It was about 3 months later when I began to notice some changes in my body. I started throwing up every morning before breakfast, and parts of my body hurt. I also became super irritable. Like, sometimes I was so angry, I could choke a koala bear. After about 4 days of this, I began to panic. I stopped at a pharmacy on the way home from school and bought a pregnancy test. I went home, did the test, and nearly fainted. I was pregnant.
Shorty was pregnant. Please don't have kids in high school. It's awkward and weird. And when you come back to school, we won't want you. You get it? Yeah.
What was I going to do? Dominic was such a sweet boyfriend, I was sure he'd understand, and that we'd be able to work through this together. I decided I'd tell him the next day while we were walking to my house together. Hey, Dominic, I don't exactly know how to tell you this, so I'll just show you.
What is it?
I handed him the positive pregnancy test.
What is this? Some kind of prank?
No, Dominic, I'm pregnant. We're going to have a baby.
It can't be mine.
What? You're the only boyfriend I've ever had. The only one I've ever been with. How could you say this?
Girl, stop lying. I don't want anything to do with you or that kid.
He handed me the test back.
Okay. I have to step in here. The boy was wrong, man. You have your kid, you keep him, man. Just like if I were to have a kid on my shoulder, I cannot run off into the sunset, man. That's immature and messed up. You have your kid, you keep him. Don't throw your burden on other people, man. Keep your own kid. You gotta understand that, okay? And yeah, I just had to say that.
Turned around and walked the other way. He left me standing there all alone and I totally broke down. I felt so lost and alone. How would I achieve any of my dreams as a pregnant teenager? I went home and cried until my parents got home. They found me on the sofa with red eyes.
Bro, they left you, he did you dirty. And now you're on the couch looking all high as hell and you're crying and your mom was asking you, sweetie, what's wrong?
Red eyes.
Dear, what's wrong?
Mom, I'm so sorry.
What are you sorry about, darling?
I'm pregnant.
What? How?
I have a boyfriend. Well, had. His name is Dominic.
Well, you might as well pack up your things and go stay with him. We didn't raise you like this. You're a disgrace, an embarrassment. Get out of our house.
My mom nodded in agreement. First my boyfriend turned against me, now my parents. I went to my room, packed a bag, and went to sit on the front steps.
You are a disgrace. Get out of our house. My mom had nodded in agreement. And your boyfriend left you, now your parents left you too. Now you are no longer single, you are completely single, nobody.
I said to go find that boy. He did this to you, and now he's going to have to deal with all the trouble.
Dad, He broke up with me. He doesn't want anything to do with me or the baby.
Well, you should have thought about that before doing whatever you did to get there.
I didn't know what to do, so I just walked around the block for a while. Then I decided to walk over to Dominic's house to talk to his parents to see if they'd take me in. Of course, I was crying the whole time. On the way, I saw Stuart. He was riding his bike. He stopped next to me.
Hey, Michaela, what's wrong?
You won't understand.
Come on, talk to me.
I told him everything. He got off his bike and gave me a hug.
Don't go to Dominic's house. His parents are jerks too. Come home with me. We have extra room and my parents would love to have you.
Okay. So the nerd is also a sim too. You wanna be a stepdad. Oh, wonderful, love this too. His parents also come to my house. My parents would love to have you. Of course, the parents would love to have like some sort of daughter-in-law, man. Their son has never bought him a shorty in his life. Like, what? Like, okay.
In addition to that, they offered to take care of Jewel while I was gone. Did I hit the jackpot or what? Stuart and I were off to college a few months later, and while it tore me apart to be away from my baby, I knew that this was the best decision for us. I knew that Stuart had feelings for me though, and he always expressed them in little ways, but I just wasn't attracted to him at all anymore. I know it seems ridiculous, but I always ended up dating guys who were similar to Dominic. They were bad boys, but they made my heart melt. Right now, I'm dating a guy called Carlos. I met him at a club one Friday night, and I instantly fell in love. He's the leader of a gang, and he's involved in lots of dangerous, unspeakable things. But he treats me like a queen, and that's all that matters. When I finish my degree, I'm going to move in with him, and I will send for Jewel too. He will be her new daddy, and I'm pretty certain that we'll live a perfect life together. I'm happy that things are finally working out for me, and I look forward to the future.
So blah blah blah, they moved into the crib, everything happy as it was, and they're like, she didn't even date the nerd, like, unlucky him. She dated a guy called Carlos. So Carlos looks like an ex. And for sure they're gonna give her another baby. You know, this girl is kind of a little bit mentally stupid. But yo, I want to thank you for watching, and of course I want ask you to like and subscribe. That's up to you. And shit, I love yo. And I'm just joking.